Kimberly Denise Jones, born July 11th, 1974. Hip-hop in 2023 is confusing to me at times how far away from the actual music and talent it's gone away from, especially if you're a female rapper. One could argue things never really changed, and it's been what it is since the early creations. In that case, wouldn't you find it sad that no change is what hip-hop has evolved into? In 2023, I can't say for certain there's one female rapper in the game that I can seriously listen to and either heed the words they say or at least be able to enjoy what they're saying outside the catchy beat behind it that makes you want to move or dance regardless. That's what made Lil Kim different when she entered the game in the 90s. She had talent to go with her raunchiness. She was also the first to do it. As much as I hate that is what hip-hop has become for female rappers, I have to salute her for never following the trends early in her career and instead setting her own trend as the female alpha that's the predator and not the prey, that is served by men and not the servant. While female rappers in the 90s struggled with being a female in the rap game and either sexualized for their body or expected to be submissive and wholesome, Kim came out using her sexuality as her power to go for what she wanted, not be stuck in the middle of should she use her sexuality for gain or not. For better or worse, what you see now, Lil Kim was the first to do it mainstream, while also selling millions of records. It also helped Kim was like one of the guys as a personality that could stand out in any room, whether she rapped or sat there and said nothing. She's often referred to as the female Notorious B.I.G, and she definitely embodied and fit perfectly in that role, making her appealing to male listeners as well. But almost 30 years in the game and just 5 albums, none after 2005 to 2018. She had a superstar run in the beginning, and factoring in she's the originator of what female rappers use to sell whatever today, she should have had at least longevity in the game, more than not much since 2005. What happened? Let's talk about it. Salute to Mademan_Tilly for this request. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth Music. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Lil Kim is a rapper, singer, actress, and more from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, New York that came to fame in the mid-90s as an MC. At the age of 9, her parents split up and guardianship was solely transferred to her father. Being in the Marines, he wasn't around often, so Kim and her older brother spent a lot of time with their aunt or in the streets. She was actually homeless for a while, moving from one safe place to rest her head to the other. She'd drop out of school and by 14 was fully on her own, using freestyling to pass the time, along with selling small amounts of drugs here and there for her male boyfriends or friends. She was always considered a tomboy since she had one brother and never grew up around many females on the streets. On the same path, Biggie caught wind of her and offered her a role in his new rap project Junior Mafia as the only female. They released their debut album, which gained much success, going gold, leading Kim to sign a solo deal with Atlantic Records in '96. Stunt number 1, Hiatus, after Biggie died. Lil Kim presented an interesting force to be reckoned with in the mid-90s because, like mentioned, she was never like typical girls in entertainment of the time. Those who were either conservative, uplifting females with their conscious message of strength without having to be sexualized, like MC Lyte or Queen Latifah, or the ones who were attempting to follow the boys so much that they didn't use being a female at all to their advantage, like Lady of Rage, Bahamadia, The Brat, Raw Digga, and more. Kim fully embraced the fact she was a female, and it worked for her artistically, giving her a lane she could be free and explore more creativity other than big clothes, bandanas, and screw faces like the grimy boys of rap. She also didn't rap like the girls either. Even her cadence sounded deep and aggressive, and it was a first of its kind to have this sexy female sound and had lyrics like one of the guys. So when her debut album dropped in '96, she was a huge success because both males and females liked her because she was relatable to either side. She had bars and a strong cadence even though the words weren't fit for a male to repeat, but she was what most females wanted to be and were too afraid to or had the goods to be. Let's be real, Kim, before the quote work, was a beautiful female with an already attractive figure, thus appealing to the eyes and ears on both sides. Hardcore went double platinum and peaked 3 on the rap charts. It produced a gold and platinum single. The album had a raunchy sexual tone, perfect to play on Lil Kim's strength as a beautiful new female that was confident in her space and also had the rhymes that could rival the boys. And then, months later, the Notorious B.I.G. was killed and it affected Kim deeply. She, along with Junior Mafia, struggled without their leader and friend, and it took Kim until 2000 to release another solo album. That too went platinum, but she arguably could have had at least 2 more albums in that span, performed just the same, and who knows how many more classic hip-hop songs that could have adjusted her notoriety and stature in hip-hop history. Stunt number 2, untimely prison sentence. While promoting her first album after Biggie died at a radio station in 2001, there were gunshots that led to one man being hit and in the hospital with serious wounds. When questioned about the incident by police, Kim denied knowing the people involved and did the same when questioned by a grand jury. Through video surveillance and years to work the case, they determined that was a lie, and she was charged with perjury and conspiracy to mislead a grand jury and law enforcement and sentenced to a year and a day in prison. She released her 4th album the same week she began serving a prison sentence and was unable to fully promote it like hoped, but it was still a success, receiving 5 mics in The Source, the first and only female rapper to have done so, selling over 3 million worldwide, although not much in the US, failing to even go gold. Kim was still in peak prime position in hip-hop, and 2005 was an important era leading into the changing of scenery in 2007 and 8, and then completely beginning the 2010s. It would be her last album for 13 years. Stunt number 3, struggled after prison. Lil Kim was released from prison July 3, 2006, and when she came home, she was noticeably a different rapper. Also by then, she was well into her 30s and not the popular female rapper with her own lane any longer. Not to mention, Nicki Minaj was also blossoming around that time, under the wings of what had become hip-hop's greatest new obsession, Lil Wayne. Young Money became a phenomenon in the late 2000s, and their reign lasted well into the 2010s, and for Drake and Nicki, some argue is still ongoing. But Nicki specifically became the new Lil Kim. She was just as raunchy, following almost exactly in the footsteps of Kim, but she was like Lil Kim 2.0, being a little more appealing to the eyes and having America's new obsession with a big butt around the time also. Kim would begin to transform, so to speak, to fit the new era's looks, and it just made things worse. She began looking unrecognizable and just kind of faded to the background as Nicki rose more and more. She released an album in 2019, but honestly, not many even knew that. She was independent after leaving Atlantic when she was released from prison, so that may have made the adjustment harder, but whatever it was, she seemed to struggle after her release and never reached the heights she was at prior to. All in all, Lil Kim is still a legend in the game, and although it's Nicki who loves saying female rappers are her sons, she and everyone you see today are factually Lil Kim's sons. She was doing the Ice Spice, Cardi B, Nicki, Meg way before they were, and as a rapper, she rapped much better than them as well, with Nicki not far behind or just as good when she wants to. The rest, trash as the kids say today. But hey, salute to Kim, much respect, but for these reasons, her growth was stunted. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music, and I'm out.